Look what showed up in the mail. Oh yeah, decals and pinstriping's in the office. But before we get to that, I am gonna put these on. So I left this original hole up there because I figured that'd be top. These are a little different length than the original handles that are on here. So gotta mark the pencil where I want the hole to be. Go get the drill. It won't be the mag drill because I don't want to scratch this, so I'm just gonna freehand with the regular cordless drill. So we'll poke a hole through, and then I gotta round up some chrome or stainless hardware to bolt that on. So there'll be one on each side there. And then when we get back to doing the steps, which we kind of put on hold, but we'll get to that, I'll probably put one up here. I got a couple of them, so let's put some chrome handles all over this thing, make it look nice. Back to this front step finally. I think we're gonna do something different. Originally we were gonna do this kind of same hand railing sticking up here like this, but I just kept looking at it, it just doesn't look right. So we're gonna go back to just doing just a step. So I'll cut this up and use the pipe, weld a post, and they'll go up underneath. We'll have some heavy angle iron that'll bolt under this plate that they'll be welded to, maybe gusseted, whatever it may be, to make that step really solid. And then, I got one over here. Grab one of these. We were gonna make a way to attach on the side of the track. This originally was the plan. We put the nice chrome handle here, and then one up here like that. And that way you'll have 1, 2, 3. So when you're going up and down this thing, you got lots of places to grab on. Because, well, I won't do this when I'm, 60. But for now, I'll be running up and down this thing pretty fast, jumping up and down on this until my joints give out. So we'll make it like that. So the step will stick out a little bit, a little wider than the other steps. This is 18 inches instead of 14.5, so what those ones are. So you have a little more room for your feet so you don't tumble as bad. I don't know if Kobe's gonna be able to make this step. He's getting older, but at least we'll make this work. And then we're gonna do one step and not two because it's such an odd distance here, like we said earlier. We don't want that down too low because go in a dip and you're gonna dig that in the ground and bend it. So it's gotta be up high enough, but this is just the point where your leg is a little bit of a stretch to get up to that step, but you'll be able to grab handles and pull yourself up. And then this is 17.5 inches to here, 18 roughly, 17.5, 18, and then 17.5, 18 to here. So that way, step is the same. So, let's put her together.
All right, so we have the intake from the turbo that's got to be connected to the tube that goes to the airbox. And we have a 6-inch elbow right here. So what I have to figure out is, I got to figure out where I need to cut this to weld that onto here and then make an extension to go to the turbo. So yeah, let's figure that out.
this is what we came up with. So I think I got it pretty true. One step, everything's welded real nice. Got flat iron plated on the side. And this, I gotta make one more of these. Really what we're trying to do is just add weight to the tractor, so anything we can do that is metal, weld it on. Put on my fancy Nancy buckets here. So I gotta mark the holes, drill up underneath, punch the holes through. But basically that's the gist of what it's gonna be. So that should be far enough, so if you drive through a ditch, this is taller than any of our other buds off the ground, so theoretically, only this year have we actually ever had one dig in the ground. It was too deep of a ditch to drive through, but that's like 2 feet there. So the chances of going in something that steep to dig that into the ground is gonna be slim, which means it'll happen, but hopefully the next generation, not mine. We'll see. So I'll get this drilled in, put some holes, bolts. We'll try it out a bunch. I'm gonna make another one. And then when it comes time to prime and paint the cab, as well as the grill black, because the ruling came in, you guys said, black's the way to go. Don't do white. Make it look like that. We'll do that. We'll paint those steps too. Go! Yeah. Slowly checking it off, piece by piece.
So now I had to, they've got 3 breathers on this engine. 1, 2, and 3. But the intake for the turbo's right there. Well, that big 6-inch tube, when it slants down, was gonna hit one of those breathers. So I was like, oh, I'll just take this valve cover and put it over here, so then that way that breather's not in the way and I can run it up. Well, I took this cover off, and I'll tell you, this engine's got like no time on it. The inside of this thing is like spotless. It looks like it's literally been broken in maybe 200 hours, 300 hours, maybe. But, I mean, look at that. Look at how clean it is. You don't get that oil, sooty look of all the burnt diesel that's in the oil. This thing is gonna be, it's gonna be a good motor for us. I'll tell you, it is clean. I am just thoroughly impressed. Unbelievable. The deal that we got on this motor, it was worth it. It was worth it. So yeah, I'm just switching these 2 valve covers so that way we can get some clearance. Figured you guys would probably like to see how clean this motor is. Now, obviously, it's a recon, rebuilt, but it's been done by Cummins, so I'm sure it's professionally done, obviously. So anyways, but yeah, it's not gonna change anything. A lot of you guys are probably gonna think, well, you should keep it where it should be. Well, they had an air cleaner, so breather, non-breather, breather, non-breather, non-breather, breather. Well, I'm just reversing it a little bit, so now it's like 2 space. It's all good, don't worry about it. It's not gonna hurt nothing. It's a really good sight to see clean motor, especially when you put all this time and effort. You're hoping that it's not going to be all this time and effort and find out you have to change the engine out or do something major. Now granted, we've never heard these run, but I'm not worried. And if I'm not worried, you should be. I'll come back through and tighten them by hand and make sure that they're good. But then that will give me the clearance to run that intake down to the turbo. So now, as you saw, we had to heat and bend the tube a little bit. And hopefully that gives me the clearance that I need. Now I might have to cut off a tiny bit of this here and shorten it a little bit. But I think we should try it and see how it looks. Yeah, it's still hitting. I'm gonna have to do this a couple times. It's not gonna take much. We knew it was gonna be a tight fit. Yeah, we'll make it happen. I think if I trim off a little extra from where the turbo is, and then it'll push it that way, and then I gotta heat that tube up and just crease it a little bit. Okay, now that I've got it mocked up there, the next thing I need to do is build a cradle for it. And I want to build it on the engine so that that stays with the engine. And then if it needs to flex, if the engine shakes, moves, whatever it can be, you got a joint here and a joint there that can take that little bit of change. So I think that would be the smartest thing, is keep it with the engine. But yeah, it clears barely clears. But it does, that's the key.
Just got it drilled, bolted. Now I'm just finishing tightening the nuts. All right, there we go. All right, how strong are we? We're pretty strong. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. Oh yeah. Now, figure out where do you want the handles at? Up here? I'll try to find the most natural spot for a 5 foot, 10.5 guy to grab at. That's not bad there, but I really want to drill through that because that's a hydraulic tank, so we still got to figure that out. But we're at least going to put one up here. So you'll reach up, pull yourself up, and there's this one. Who's worse, me or him? Don't worry about it, Scott. Don't worry about it. Like, I mean, no, my face is not dirty. All right, just about to call it a day, but we got the second ladder on, or step. So now you should be able to get a running start and climb up. Oh, yeah. Ooh, wow, this is looking nice. So the blue, I mean, it's cool looking, red, white, and blue. But we need more blue to make it work. So I don't know, we might paint it, but I've got 2 radiator hoses hanging up over there that were green, not putting that on here. So they got painted to black, so those are gonna connect here and there when they finish drying. Leg arms is working real hard on getting this intake set up here. So turbo up and over. But this is looking really sharp. Got lots of handprints everywhere and scrapes and all kinds of stuff. So we'll be doing a lot of touch-ups. I almost wish that stuck out a little further. I tried to make a straight shot down where the edge of this lined up with this and you look straight down it. But it's not bad. As long as your shin doesn't smack right there climbing up it. Oh yeah, oh that's gonna work out really great. Cool. All right, what do you think, guys and girls? I think that'll work. Yeah, let's not rip them off.
Plenty of clearance. Perfect. That's what I wanted.
Parts finally showed up. This is for the radiator. So 2 top hoses. I spray painted them black, and well, the green's kind of showing through. I'm gonna have to use some more spray paint. We'll see. This one though, thankfully, came in black. I just couldn't find the reinforced coil. This just has a wire in it to keep it from kinking. Like this one, if you were to bend it, it's just gonna kink like that. Well, the top 2 hoses up here have to do a sharp 90 over down. So you need the ones with the wire in it so they don't kink. I couldn't find any that weren't green. So, whatever. Got all my T-clamps. This is gonna get cut down. Go from the engine to the bottom of the radiator. We needed to transition to 90 over. So I'll be using this 3.5 inch 2-footer to cut a little piece to adapt this end to the bottom of the engine, and then I'll use the rest of the section to connect from the bottom of that to the radiator. So let's get putting them on. Steps are nice. Steps are really nice. All right, where are we? Let's take these off. Okay. Go on there. There we go. Oh, it's about perfect. Good. I like these Series 2 tractors. And these fenders are beautiful. But they sure are in the way when you're working around an engine. They don't make it easy for it. All right, what's going on here? Oh, you're gonna do this, aren't you? This is so hard. Can't get both arms in here. Now I have to go underneath the tractor, push it up. I think it's the only way. There we go. She buttoned up. Turns out a little spray stuff in there makes things move a little better with rubber on metal. The only concern I have is this is rubbing against that cross member that holds the engine, so I'm probably gonna get a strap that will make a piece that attaches to it so it's tight there, so that way it doesn't rub. But there's flex up there for the engine vibrates and twists, and there's flex here, so it should have enough. I think now what I'm gonna do is get these handles on these fenders. You can kind of see where the old spots were. That was the bottom of the hole, top was up there. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the bottom hole where it was. I should have left instead of welding it shut. And that'll be the top of the handle, and then we'll bolt it wherever it goes down here. But the thing is, obviously these fenders are rounded, and these are built to be on a flat surface. See how it's flush, flush? Well, not so flush. So I gotta put these in the press, or we do have a pipe bender. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit of a curl out of this to make it match that fender. Let's try it. Bad idea? Let's find out. I don't think it bent it at all. Let's try it again here. Can't see it bending. It curled it a little bit. Ooh, that's really close. That's really close. A little deformed in the center here, but overall, it's not that noticeable. So I think it'll work. Nice strong handles and lots of places to grab. It's good. Good. You don't take a tumble.